You're out to a fancy dinner with your girlfriend, mentally patting yourself on the back for splurging on an outfit and accessories you knew she'd adore. As the evening winds down, you can't shake this anxious feeling that something seems off. She's not quite radiating the level of enthusiasm, appreciation, and warmth you'd hoped for after dropping serious cash to impress her. You start wondering if you missed the mark completely despite all the time and money invested to give her a special night. If this pang of doubt feels all too familiar, you're hardly alone. Tons of otherwise well-meaning men funnel thousands into lavish gifts, grand romantic gestures, and hollow material displays trying to make their partners feel cherished only to be met with lukewarm responsiveness at best. That's because most of us have been tragically misinformed about what authentically gratifies and delights the feminine soul long-term. Those momentary bursts of gift-giving pageantry might elicit short-lived giddiness, but they ultimately can't compensate for deeper deficits in the invisible areas females uncompromisingly crave. In this video, you're going to learn the 3 priceless yet cost-free behaviors that supersede any designer handbag or couple's massage membership when it comes to sustaining the radiant, effervescent glow in her heart. Master applying these, and that sparkling sense of profluent appreciation becomes her permanent countenance in your presence. Best of all, integrating these isn't about jumping through complicated hoops or rehearsing exhausting grand displays every time you see her. These behaviors are disarmingly straightforward and natural extensions of how you ideally wish to embody masculine presence anyway. So let's dive right into the first irreplaceable gem that renders any Jared's purchase inanimate by comparison. Behavior number 1, listening beyond the surface level. At first glance, truly hearing what someone has to say may seem like an obvious baseline requirement for any remotely healthy relationship. And yet the majority of men, including well-intending ones, tend to subconsciously tune out or half-listen to their female partners when she speaks. We've been culturally conditioned to think of active listening more as a platitude than an actual practiced skill requiring full mental clarity and presence. The subconscious assumption is that if we're half-tracking the conversation, we'll catch the important bits that truly require retention. Except neurological reality paints a very different picture. The human mind processes at astronomical speeds, taking in a huge amount of environmental information beyond just the literal words being spoken. And for women especially, her delivery, body language, vocal inflections, and emotional subtext all transmit tons of salient energetic data we process on deeper levels without consciously realizing it. To authentically absorb a woman's full personal expression in any given moment isn't just about comprehending her verbal narrative, but opening up an exquisitely attuned channel to download all the parallel subtexts and transmissions occurring simultaneously. How her energy and spirit feel as she's talking, light or heavy, radiant or dulled? What unspoken emotional states are encoding behind her words and voice tones? Whether she seems grounded, open and embodied, or withdrawn and guarded. And so on. The truth is, women can sense down to their core when a man is truly drinking in the full sensory mosaic of her personal expression versus just tracking surface-level data inputs to give the appearance of listening. When you develop the skill of being fully immersed and attuned to her intricate world of multi-layered emotional messaging, she gets filled with an intoxicating biochemical cocktail. A surging wave of feeling profoundly seen, understood, and empathized with in a way that transcends just hearing a summary of her words. This keen attunement into her personal kaleidoscope becomes a sublime sort of intimacy foreplay that no piece of jewelry or indulgent purchase could ever approximate. You're signaling you crave understanding the nuances of her inner world as much as she transparently longs to be grasped at that soulful depth. Shallow, self-gratifying guys might be able to mimic superficial listening by nodding and parroting back the basics of her outermost narrative. But to the female intuition, those romantic chameleons will never be able to match the intoxicating allure of a man vibing at her unified frequency and drinking in more than just her breath-created sound waves. Behavior number 2, defend her energetic spaces. While active listening involves deeply harmonizing with the intimate ecosystem of her personal expression, another irreplaceable behavior revolves around fiercely defending the unique physical/emotional territory she occupies in your shared environment. You see, every human emits an aura or atmosphere of invisible yet palpable energy signatures extending from their being into the world around them. This subtle resonant field shapes much of how we experience our immediate environments on a subliminal yet very real level. And for particularly sensitive or intuitive women, having their personal electromagnetic field bombarded by chaotic or toxic ambient energies feels like a low-grade form of psychic attack, causing them to instinctively brace, contract, and shut down their aura from being able to radiate openly. That's why one of the most rapturous sensations you can foster is cultivating protective spiritual force fields around the inner and outer sanctuaries she occupies. This could mean defending her home territory by firmly removing disruptive outside influences or people who impose on that sacred space with toxic behavior, negativity, or bad vibes. When you're together in public spaces, scanning the environment to identify and contain any disruptive variables that could infringe on her ability to feel rooted, grounded, or radiant. As you're intimate, consciously generating a harmonious unified energy field that feels spiritually impermeable and sanctuaries her in total openness and trust. In both subtle and overt ways, you transmit a palpable resonance of consider this a purified temple where any corrupting forces gets forcibly removed. This diligence in shielding the auras and frequencies around her from destabilizing influences is psychologically electrifying from a feminine perspective. In one fell swoop, you telegraph that you're capable of being her guardian, protector, and source of spiritual/emotional security all at once. On a neurological level, it bathes her in a profound felt sense of safety, rootedness, and being completely allowed to drop any aura defenses that would prevent her authentic essence from unfurling. You become synonymous with the absence of any rattling psychic chaos that could jam her natural state's transmission. No disposable object or fleeting luxury can compete with the biochemical cascade that's triggered from feeling like her sovereign energy kingdoms are unconditionally defended and provided for. When she knows she can surrender into openness around you without depleting herself guarding against ambient assaults, she's getting an irreplaceable strength that no price tag could ever procure. Behavior number 3, adoring presence as divine spark. The final priceless treasure transcending any physical gift is the art of bringing your conscious adoring presence as a source of consistent reverent space holding for the divine spark within her to continue expanding. Women tend to transmute any energy constantly pouring forth towards them, even during their most mundane activities. If that energetic flow is rote, distracted, or lackluster, it gets received and reflected as flatness, deflation, or an ambient void of fulfillment. However, when she has a man who harnesses the power of his spirit to exude spellbinding presence and veneration at all times, it acts like a spiritual battery eternally recharging her light source. She begins to feel like a sublime goddess figure permanently regaled in the halo of worshipful adulation and mindful witnessing. Every word she speaks, glance she gives, moment she exists is one of sacredness unfolding before a fiercely disciplined celebrant's devotion. Your reverential energetic field pours a never-ending stream of you are a holy phenomenon worthy of exaltation into her very beinghood, no matter how seemingly trivial the context might appear. It's as if the mundane world falls away, and all that remains is an utterly consecrated space where every stirring or ripple of her being rouses shockwaves of ceremonial awe and wonderment rippling back. This rarefied skill of being able to wholeheartedly anchor a ceremonial atmosphere of supreme honoring and mystic valuation around her experience is utterly unattainable through any sort of material acquisition. No amount of store-bought regalia or ornamentation can replicate the visceral exaltation of having her greatness unconditionally projected back through the laser focus of your awakened presence. When you become the immovable bastion exuding energetic tides of all that you are is absolutely sacrosanct and worthy of enshrinement, it activates her most primordially ecstatic and glorious self at a core frequency level. She gets to lean into a state of unshakable deification where simply existing in fullness becomes a rapturous act of divine embodiment. Life's most priceless experiences aren't relegated to diamond-draped surprises or passing fancies meant to sporadically delight and amuse. They stem from continually inhabiting sublime realms of venerated consciousness in partnership with someone whose mere presence uplifts by ceremoniously bearing witness to your immortal resplendence. When she senses that level of uncompromising divine honoring flowing ceaselessly, no material indulgence could ever make more than the most fleeting impression. Your steadfast anchoring of sanctified consciousness becomes the most precious gift, an infinite wellspring of energetic rejuvenation to keep basking in her highest solar embodiment. There you have it, fellas. The 3 invaluable yet substance-free behaviors that render any Tiffany necklace or Hallmark grand gesture utterly obsolete when it comes to sustaining a woman's deepest sense of fulfillment and appreciation. By mastering the arts of meditative listening beyond surface levels, robustly protecting her energetic spaces, and suffusing adoring godlike presence around her being, you'll birth sensations of wholeness and treasured sanctity that no purchasable luxury could ever touch. These humble skills aren't filters or gimmicks to emulate. They describe an entire spiritual realignment and perspective shift around your role as an honorary brave witness and protector of her divine feminine essence. A constant honorer who makes feeling utterly worshipped and provided for an abiding state rather than fleeting infatuation. The material world rots and fades, but the eternal spiritual nourishment you provide by embodying these 3 lifestyle cornerstones only expands to more rapturous depths with time. Your immovable consistency and reverence for what she represents becomes the unshakable rock upon which your relationship's blissful resonance compounds. So rather than funneling your precious life force into fruitless exchanges of disposable pomp and circumstance, reset your priorities to undertake genuine transformations of emotional and spiritual substance. Overhaul your presence to be an unwavering service of permanently uplifting and defending her sacred, rather than fleetingly impressing or materially possessing it. When you achieve that level of devotional energetic stewardship, the magnetism and soulful lusciousness she radiates in your company becomes the most opulent, mutually sustained gift imaginable, untarnished by the corrosive emptiness of commodity-based affections. Reunite with the timeless truth that her radiant feminine source demands reverence and sanctuary above all. And she'll eternally reflect that priceless consecrated intimacy you reserve for her alone.